Yo, what's up, guys? Your boy Gamer Continue, and I got another game review for you. The Shadow of War coming to PS4, PC, and Xbox One. This is gonna be one of my most. This is gonna be a personal favorite title for me to play, guys. I cannot wait to get my hands on this game. I'm so excited about this. So let's go ahead and check it out together. Okay, so with this new Shadow of War, they're gonna introduce the Nemesis system. And from what I've understood about the Nemesis system is it's a system based upon AI intelligence, and that means that no one battle is ever going to be the same for you or for me. So depending on your personality is how the game's going to play itself out. So let's, for instance, say I go in hacking and slashing, killing everyone, that's going to create grudges amongst the faction that may survive the initial onslaught that I bring. So the enemies are going to have their own little subplot, and they're going to remember you and what you did to the fortress that they were in prior to you coming through and pillaging everything. So that for me is going to make for hours of gameplay. It's not going to be I'm just going to run through the story, because a lot of times for me I play a game to beat it, and I also enjoy, like, the more I enjoy a game the more I want to beat it. But it's going to be more like you're going to want to really get into the lore of Shadow of War. You're not going to just want to just play it, beat it, move on to the next game, and then be bored. It's going to be something that you might even return to, because with the Nemesis system, it's going to create those subplots that are actually going to be enjoyable, and you're going to want to just feel that. It's gonna feel almost like you're in the game, because you'll be making real choices that actually affect the people that are with you. Okay, so and that for me is what's going to give this game a longevity and a long shelf life, essentially. So what I am curious about this game is the online aspect of it. Once I build my army, will I be able to then go and fight other people on my PSN who have their own armies? Which I would assume that they would do, because most games are online compatible now. But I haven't heard anything personally, and that's yet to be determined as far as from where I'm standing and my standpoint. But still excited. I cannot wait to get my hands on this game. So, right now, he's entering the fortress on some solo. He's not, like, they're still breaking through, but you as a player, you can go ahead and just get in there and start doing what you have to do to make your forces advance forward. So, I'm pretty excited about that. So, right now, they're having dialogue, and from what I understand, he's done something to... I didn't get to read his name. He's done something to him, and he remembers him. So this is the AI showing you its intelligence. And I'm not going to play the actual gameplay footage, because this is my own personal review. But you can go ahead and watch that for yourself, and you can find out, what he said to him, essentially. So he goes through, he kills him, and he removes the curse. So I think that a lot of the different orcs are going to have different kind of powers, which is good, because you as a player have a multitude of powers. I mean, I remember when I was talking to someone about this game, and I was like, do I need to buy a trainer? Because, like I've said in my other reviews, I like to have all the powers, and I don't want them running out. And they said, you will not need a trainer for this game. It's going to be a game where you're going to feel like you're really in control, and you have all the power at your disposal. So Talion is the main protagonist of this story, and he's infused with an elf. Okay, so you have two sides. You have this elf that created the ring. So if you know about Lord of the Rings, this is for the people who know. Also, spoiler alerts, just in case. He created the ring. Talion in the first game had his family murdered, and somehow they became infused. So they both want revenge on Sauron. I know I messed his name up. So for the Lord of the Rings people, my bad. Okay, but they want revenge, essentially. So they formed an alliance amongst themselves to get this revenge and to build this army. In the first game, you did create allies. I want to say at least you brainwashed orcs, and you were able to do that, and then you were able to go in and disrupt the main camp, but not to a scale of this degree. Like in this game, you'll be able to build your army up, and going forward, that will help you with other fortresses you have to essentially get into. All right, so it's going to be a story that just builds upon itself, and there's no better game than a game that has different kind of levels, in-depth story. I live for that. That's something I cannot wait to get my hands on and actually start developing my own personal story in the game. As of now, I'm just really curious about that online play. That's what I can't wait to get to see how that unfolds. And going forward, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have fortress against fortress, because that also guarantees the shelf life of a game. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the people on my PSN will pick this up, and I'll be able to clash with them. So once again, this is another. See how he's like changing. You can pause the video, but his face, because this dude has cheated death, and he has a cursed necromancer, which is like a spellcaster type. He has the ability of magic, and then also you notice that this dude just sniped him. This guy has the ability to snipe. Okay, so he essentially saved you in the game. Now, without him being there, I mean, he didn't like save your life. I'm sure you would have fought him, but it wouldn't have gave you the upper hand. So because he was placed right there and you have a sniper, he took his hand off, which will make this even more easier to come through, kill, and then get out, you know? And they're gonna level up because of this. You know, everything you do has a consequence, and that is what's gonna make this game great. Also, unlike 1, you're able to change your clothes. I remember in 1 you had DLC content, and the DLC content had like 3 different outfits, and that's what I would like. Me personally, I like to customize my own character and make them look the way I want them to look. I don't want to just run around in the base gear. So with this, when you kill an enemy, they drop loot, and the loot varies from different weapons to different types to all this. But the most important thing for me as a player is I get to customize my character now and then change them into something I would like to see myself go into battle with, which is going to be more for the player, and I can't wait. And you know, a lot of people they do the thing where they want the stats super high. Me personally, I'm going for looks. I mean, I have all the powers I need, so it's not going to be a stats thing, you know. It's going to be something superficial, and that's something that's going to be very interesting to see as well. So this guy who's running, he led the charge, and he was going to break through the gates, and now he's dead. Now this guy, the Dark Destroyer, is dead now. So now he can no longer break through gates. I mean, you could probably get another one, but I'm not sure how he got the first one because the game's not out yet. But if he had not died, he would then be able to go through, break more gates, and lead that charge. But now that he's dead, he can no longer do that. So you're going to be losing forces, okay? You're going to have to replenish the ranks and then put the people you want in place to do what you want to do. And you're going to lose forces. I mean, you're probably going to lose guys you like. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm pretty sure there's always going to be another guy who's better. Right now Talion's on the dragon. I think it's called the Drake. So me personally, when I first seen this, I was like, I don't want that to die. Like, that's something I would want to come back into combat with. I might keep like 3, and then like I was personally thinking when I was watching this, what if he just jumped off the Drake, and would it still be in his like repertoire to use in future like future battles, pretty much, because that's something I wouldn't want to have to go and find another one, because I wouldn't know where to go and find it. And I feel like as a player, he might not want to go, or she, find another Drake to use. I think that's a cool beast. I can only imagine flying in, like telling my forces to go charge. I'm flying in on a dragon. That's epic to me. All right, I don't want my Drake to die. So as you see, they get into a scuffle, and the Drake's essentially dead, and that really sucks. Like I really did not want that to happen. So as well, like I said, this is another mini boss. When I watched this, there were 3. All right, so there's like a war chief, and then there's one before that. I can't think of his name. And then there's the Lord of the fort, essentially. So right now, he took down a miniature boss to get to the Lord, and he's convinced him to join his team. Also, too, when you kill like the people before the Lord, and I mean like the lower bosses, not like the grunts, that affects their morale as a whole. So if you kill one, it's like there's different levels to this, and their morale lowers. It's easier to kill them, you know. So it's just like in real war, you know. Like if your captain dies, essentially you cut the snake's head off, the body will follow, and that's what happens as you go through. So the war chief knows what has happened right as of now. Like, he knows the Drake's dead. He knows that he's convinced one of his subordinates to join his own regiment. He also knows that he's killed the first one that we just saw, and that will affect everything. Now, from what I'm hearing, the Nemesis system, there's never going to be one player that plays the same game, but there's only so many different scenarios a player can play out. So, because this is not real life, it's not boundless decisions. This is not real. So, therefore, I feel like there's going to be a limited amount of scenarios. Still a multitude of scenarios, which is what's going to keep you playing. So, essentially, no one's going to probably have the same scenario happen. But if he had not killed the first guy, convinced him to join and kill the second guy, this would turn different. If he did not kill the Drake, because he mentions this to him, Talion, before he walks in, he's like, my Drake's dead, my castle's ruined, you destroyed everything, which you would think would piss him off and make him even a harder boss to fight. But I don't know, I digress. So, because he's done this, he knows this, and he's confronted him about it, and now Talion must go in and essentially kill this Lord. Okay, so you're not. And also too, you don't have to go in guns blazing. You can go in stealthily. So and that kind of threw me off when they said you can go in stealthily, because you can't have an army with you and play the stealth game. But what you can do is infiltrate, go in, murder, and then that would be stealthy to me. And I personally wouldn't. I probably, it just depends on your forces too. I think stealth would only play a major key is if the force you're up against was stronger than you, and you didn't want to lose a bunch of guys trying. And I would assume that it has an autosave feature. That way you're not like, I'll just turn the game off, because no, that's not good. So if they had an autosave feature from where your characters died, you would then lose even more and more and more, and stealth would probably be your only option pretty soon. Now, you've seen this other org charge in. That's one Italian subordinates. You chose to put him on the front lines, knowing what he does. Okay, so he charged in to help you. And that, in turn, makes him an asset to your army, essentially. Okay? So if he had died prior to you infiltrating the Lord's... I'm not sure what you would call that. I can't think of what... Dominion, like his actual place where he is. That wouldn't have happened. That would, or if you had never ever convinced him to join you. So now the fortress is conquered, okay, and it's yours now. And there's regions of the game, different parts, and you go through conquering each region different, and you obviously you gain experience, you level up, you get gear, and that's what makes the game. That's what makes you want to do it again and again. Will this game get stale? You going in, conquering different things, essentially doing the same thing. That's why there's a story mode. That's why things progress as you do different things to keep the game engaging and keep you wanting to keep conquering more and more and more and build your army. And then after you do conquer a certain region of the map, you then place one of your orcs to be the new lord. I remember in the first game, Shadow of Mordor, my war chiefs were challenged and had the potential to die. How often will that happen in the new Shadow of War? I don't know. I would hope not so much where I gotta feel like I gotta always backtrack and it's hard to progress, but not enough to where I feel like I'm just running through the game, because I really want to sit and enjoy this game. I want to play it and I want to feel what it feels like to actually be like a king in the game, because essentially that's what he's becoming. He's conquering the land and he's becoming a king in the game. So with the new clothes, the new Nemesis system, you can go through conquering different things. You have the ability of stealth. Your enemies have their own subplot, and that's going to play different kind of factors. And by subplot, I mean like this guy might not like this other guy, and then they might, clash. It might not even have anything to do with you. They might just be like, I don't like him, he doesn't like me. This has nothing to do with Talion. Let's do this. And I find that interesting. So I personally can't wait for this game to come out. I can't wait to see what they do with it. If you haven't played the first one, pick it up. It's a game you're going to want to actually play and enjoy, and it will catch you up to the story. If not, you can always get it on G2A. I'm always advertising that because they just have cheap keys for PC. And I don't... Check your specs. That's what I would say. I said check your specs before you buy anything. But yeah, G2A is where to get it. GameStop has it because it's this game. Shadow of Mordor has been out for a long time and it couldn't be that much money. I'm pretty sure they have it on that sales rack, so you can cop it there. It's a great game. I don't want to drop any spoilers, but since this is my own personal review, you will be disappointed at the end just because of the way they did the boss fight. That's what I'll say about that. With this new game, I personally looked it up. I was like, man, this boss fight sucked, and you have to just play it and experience to find out what it's about. So with this new game, I'm hoping that's the one thing I really, because like there's so much drama in this game, there's so much action, there's so much gore, there's so many different ways to kill an opponent with your elf side, and then with you being a man, there's just so many different ways to conquer what you want to conquer. So I was disappointed. I'll just leave it at that. So I'm assuming that they changed that. And if they change that, I cannot see major flaws in why this game would not be a great seller. Lord of the Rings has a great shelf life. It's been around since I was a kid. I personally never got into the movies. So if you're like, I didn't play the movie, I didn't watch the movies, I didn't like them, and then I remember when the games came out for PS2, I really wasn't into the games because I wasn't into the movie. It was just too, it was too like elfy, kind of like, you know, throwing bows. It just wasn't my kind of swing. But when I picked up this game, I heard great things about it. I feel like no matter what you hear, you should do independent research and search for yourself and decide for yourself, not listen to, oh, this guy said that, this said that, because you might like something that no one else likes. But I digress again. I personally enjoyed this, and I don't really care for Lord of the Rings, the movie. I sat and watched it. I thought it was a great movie, but I'm not a diehard fan, if I can say that, you know. But this game, the Shadow of Mordor, great game. They did a great job with it. I played it, and I think I played it twice. I played it on medium, and I played it on hard because I just enjoyed it. So for this new Shadow of War, I would say pre-order. I would go ahead and say pre-order. The only thing I could think that they could give you is some kind of special armor. Maybe like a Drake, because that dragon thing is brand new. I haven't seen that before. What else they could give you? A sword, and that would be it. And it would be exclusive to the pre-order, and I think that would be worth it for me because it's just an extra $5. As far as scenarios go, I don't know. I think you don't have to pre-order for the scenarios because they would eventually become DLC on the PSN or Xbox Live Store. So if you're not into if you're not really into customizing your character for the aesthetics, then I would say wait and just buy the game, play it, because they have different clothes you can obtain once you kill an enemy. So that's what I would say as far as pre-ordering or not pre-ordering the game. But as far as my review goes, that's it, guys. It's been your boy Gamer Continue. I'm out. I'll see you on the stream.